Thanks very much, and we'll get into the Johnny Nemis, athlete and builder. Johnny Nemis was an important, crucial character in the world of Cape Breton boxing. He was the eldest son of Giuseppe Enrica Nemis, who arrived in Cape Breton from Italy in 1905. That's 110 years ago. They had 8 children, including 5 sons, who were all at one time either coal miners and then boxers, or both at the same time. Johnny was the first to strap on the gloves, and he got a start with a fellow Italian trainer in Sydney named Joe Uvani. Uvani came from New York to train local area boxers in the Sydney area. As young boys, Johnny and his brother Louis would work out for long hours in the field adjacent to their home. Nemis fought his first fight at the age of 18 in 1922 versus Norman Elcock at the Italian Hall in the number 14 district. After a 1926 fight in New Glasgow, a local writer described Nemis as tough as nails, a picture of good health, perfect training, careful with diet, trains daily, doesn't smoke or hit the hops, and looks like a boy who will go far in the fight game. A great thing about researching my book was these great lines like hitting the hops. Like, who says that anymore? You say, Lowell still says that. After defeating North Sydney local hero and maritime welterweight champ Jack McKenna, also in 1926, sports writer Earl Pemberton, who hailed from Glace Bay, wrote, Nemis was coolness personified. His timing was perfect, and he handled himself like a veteran when he was in trouble. Again, great lines. If ever there was proof you can learn almost anything from a book, there is a Popular Mechanics magazine from June 1927 with an advertisement in it endorsing a book by Jimmy DeForest called The Golden Age of Boxing. 1927, ad. Who's in the ad? Johnny Nemis. This is what he says. He orders the book through the mail, and he reads the book to learn about boxing. And he finds the book so useful, Johnny then writes DeForest and tells him. And DeForest says, wow, this is such a great line. I'm going to advertise using Johnny Nemis, a guy from New Waterford. Here's what Johnny said. Ever since you wrote me last, I won the welterweight championship of the Maritime Provinces. It was a whale of a fight, but the things I learned from your course just made Jake McKenna look bewildered and foolish. Your course is worth its weight in gold. Everything I know today I got from it. I am deeply indebted to you for all I know, and I wish to thank you ever so much for your attention and kindness to me. Within 2 years, I will be in New York fighting the top-notchers. So this was boxing by mail order. It's like early version of a distance course through a book that he got, which to me is literally, this is remarkable that this was going on. Someone could order a book, learn the box, combine it with what you know, and then he did start the fight with the, again, great line, the top-notchers. Who says that anymore, Lowell? Do you say that? Carl, you say top-notch? No, see? By 1930, Johnny Nemis was fighting on an average of, Bruce, you already got me on, where's Bruce at? Yeah, you got me at the math there, yeah. I calculated about 2.5 fights a week. It's just unbelievable. 2.5 to 3. 2.5 fighting every 2.5 to 3 weeks. That's just utterly unbelievable for a fighter. He took on fellow New Waterforder Buddy Lewis. Who remembers Buddy Lewis? Anybody? Hands up? Yeah. He had a trio of matches with Buddy. The first ended in a draw. He lost the last 2, and there was quite a rivalry between the two, between Nemis and Lewis. So Nemis didn't like the fact that it was a draw. He stomps out of the ring, shouting back, lock both of us in a freight car, and whoever comes out first will be declared the winner. So, he's only young then. Ironically, the freight car plays into Nemis's training ritual. So when he would be going to Halifax or Maine or as far as Boston, he would train on the train in an empty boxcar. He would ask the conductor, and all these people knew who Johnny Nemis was, for an empty boxcar, and he would then go into the boxcar, be locked into it, and he would be shadowboxing and all this in the boxcar all the way up to wherever the heck it was that he was going. So that is commitment to training. In a train. On the train. And that was long train rides. In Italian Lives, Cape Breton Memories, the book by Ivo Di Piero and Sam Migliori from a number of years ago, Joe Nemis states his brother Johnny had over 200 fights, losing only 13 and never getting knocked out. Other sources that I could find put the number at a remarkable 278 fights in 16 years, which works out to be something like every 2.5 to 3 weeks. He retired from inside the ring on New Year's Day, 1938, at the St. Agnes Gym in Waterford after his last match with a boxer by the name of Earl Kinsman, after 16 years and 278 fights. So, with his fight career behind him, it was his work outside the ring that gives him such great prominence in local boxing circles. He became a trainer working out at Sydney Venetian Gardens, and he trained over the years his brothers, the New Waterford Mount Carmel team, and numerous others who have become some of the most well-known Cape Breton pugilists of all time. Just a very slight aside. When researching the boxing book, I got really interested in the Venetian Gardens as a neat place and venue where boxing and dancing went on. And I was sure that that was the only place in all of Canada, if not North America, if not anywhere, where that happened. Till about a half hour ago, when Carl Marsh told me he saw all kinds of dancing and boxing going on in the Strand Gym. So I'm always on the hunt for whether it's a true story, a fiction story, a play, which I've done in here. So I don't know, maybe we gotta talk. I know it's true. I just didn't know it. So I don't know, it's gotta be a play in there, the Strand Gym. We will talk. Dave, how much money you got to write a play, buddy? I do it all free, don't worry. Don't start sweating.
That's federal.
Yeah, that's federal money. Federal play, Mr. Eiking, yeah. Bring it to Ottawa. Okay? Yeah, you already got it. We've got lots of drama.
It's called the Senate.
It's called the Senate, yeah. No jokes from you. Crowbar. Okay. So, here's a list. Now, this is not in any way a complete list, but these are some of the boxers that began their early career. And we're talking early, right? Like kids as young as 14, 15, 16 that got their start with Johnny Nemis. He put them on the path, okay? And behind every champ that wins a national championship, there's dozens, if not hundreds more young guys that, could have been there or might have been there or whatever. So it goes to show you how popular the sport was and how crucial some people are to a particular sport. So we've got fellow New Waterforders like Joe Pyle, and I got to meet his lovely sister over here, and we introduced her earlier. So it's just terrific. Joe Pyle, who's I write about in my book. Ike Gillis, Les Gillis. Les is going to be at the opening of the hall tomorrow, right? Your hall? That's right, according to Cape Breton Post. Les Gillis was a North American champion. He won a Canadian championship, and then he fought an American for a North American championship, 1967. Gordy McDougall, Gussie Grease Lightning McGibbon, the Odos, Tony and Johnny, Archie Bear Hannigan, love the names. Tyrone Gardner, that's a real name, by the way. What a great name and nickname, Tyrone Gardner. 1965 Canadian lightweight champ and Eagles fan. And of course the great British Empire middleweight champion, Blair Richardson. British Empire at the time meant half the world. We call it Commonwealth now. It was a big deal. Blair started with Johnny Nemis, Blair from South Bar. Gordy McDougall credits Nemis with turning his life around. The local police brought the troublesome young McDougall to meet Nemis in the hope sometime in the gym may help straighten him out. Nemis said this to McDougall, this is a quote from McDougall, to McDougall from Nemis. What I teach you in here, it's in here, and that's as far as it goes. I don't want to catch you or the cops tell me that you use this on the street. And if you do, you're out of this gym and don't come back. In later years, Nemis built his own gym in his home, and he continued to train local New Waterford lads. Failing health, including Parkinson's, eventually took hold of him. His loving sister Etta cared for him in his final years. He died at the age of 69, Camp Hill Hospital in Halifax. John Campbell, writer for the Cape Breton Post at the time, wrote, "Though in ailing health, he never lost interest in the game that was, in effect, his life's work." No better words said. The local boxing fraternity recognizes the crucial part Johnny Nemis played in the sport for decades as a competitor, a trainer, a booster, and a general man about the ring. Young boxers today have probably been trained by those who can trace their own ring pedigree in one way or another to New Waterford's Johnny Nemis, regarded by many as the trainer of champions. Johnny worked as a miner till he took on training full-time in 1948. He was also an accomplished accordion and piano player, and he often played weddings and dances at the Dominion Italian Hall. He never married or had any children, though, and he was a favorite uncle to many of his siblings' children, many of whom are with us tonight over here in the Nemis family. So, and it's been really great for me to meet. I met Sally a few years ago. It's great to meet the rest of you people today, truly. So it's just, it's obvious Johnny played a pivotal role in the heyday of Cape Breton boxing. I spent 8 years researching my book on boxing. It took a long time, off and on, and his name came up all over the place. He's chapter 2 in the book. He's a very important person, I think. So 41 years after his death in 1974, I feel it's fitting for the local community and the New Waterford and District Sports Heritage Hall of Fame to recognize the accomplishments of this New Waterford son who was totally dedicated to his sport and all the young fighters around him. Johnny made a major contribution to building the sport of boxing in Cape Breton, and I truly am personally indebted to him for piquing my interest as a writer, and I'm very grateful to be able to be asked here to speak here tonight about this, because when the book came out a few years ago, I didn't think I'd be doing this, and you don't always get a chance to thank people that you really should thank. And in many ways, the story of Johnny Nemis got me interested in the story of the Tyrones and the Blairs and the John Chiquetto, another great trainer, all these people. But you have to find in any story, you have to find somewhere to start and somewhere to end. So I was able to start really with the story of Johnny Nemis. And I'm going to end here by thanking you all and thanking the committee for asking me to be here. It's really been a pleasure. And thanks very much. I'm glad to meet the Nemises. And we're going to call Dougie McSqueen up. And here comes Dougie. And he's going to present the certificate on for Johnny Nemis to his nephew, Lino Joby, who I just met earlier, who wishes he could have been a boxer. Take a look at this guy. Come up. Look at that. Give us the stance. 80 years old. Doesn't look 60. Thank you very much.